Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making.
How can an entrepreneurship mindset enhance relationships? Part 2. If you missed the first episode, it was all about us telling you what is an entrepreneurship, what does it mean to have an entrepreneurship mindset, being a risk taker, being creative, solutions oriented. But if you missed it, I'm not going to tell you anything more. You really need to just find that episode and listen to it. This is Making It Last podcast. I'm your host, Noreen Daly, and with me again is Lanisia Rhoden, a social entrepreneur. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, last time around, Lanisia, we spoke about the whole idea of the mindset and how it impacted on relationships in general, specifically platonic relationships. I believe this time around we want to deal with another type of relationship, specifically spousal. No, I'm not aware of Lanisia being married yet, but maybe that has happened and I'm just not aware, or maybe soon, but
Not yet.
yeah, not yet. But in terms of spousal, so
Right.
tell us, how this can enhance relationships
Right.
in that realm.
Right. So an entrepreneurship mindset, one of the first things is that what I've seen and experienced, you tend to attract persons of a similar entrepreneurial mindset. So that is something that I've seen. But in terms of enhancing the relationship, it's also very similar to a platonic relationship. But your spouse is somebody who you're closer with. You may spend more time with this person and you may know them at a deeper level than you do for other persons. And so what it does, it allows you to even identify the person's skills, the person's strengths. And then if you are the entrepreneur, you are that person with the entrepreneurial mindset, it becomes a bit easier for you to be able to say, okay, based on the strengths or the skill sets that you have, these are the things that you can actually do to start a business or to earn. And you are even more motivated to do this because if it is your spouse and you're looking to spend in your life with this person, then at the end of the day, this business that will come out of this idea will benefit both parties, right? So that is definitely an advantage. Another thing that I've seen is that just the whole approach to how you deal with your relationship, because you're a risk taker, that it means that you are more open to taking risk with your spouse. And when I say risk in terms of the relationship. So you are more open to maybe exploring somewhere new together because you don't have that type of reservation
as others would have.
As others who don't have that entrepreneurial mindset do, right? You may be more open to investments too because you are a risk taker. So it does enhance the relationship in that way.
What if somebody's listening and saying, but okay, I get that aspect that the person has that mindset, but what if it is that I'm not interested in creating an income for myself and I'm fine with the 9 to 5?
Right.
Do you think in some way then that might cause some friction, or how can that not be a factor?
Right. So that is definitely possible, right? And I've experienced that too in my life where there are persons who are definitely not entrepreneurs or don't have the entrepreneurial mindset. And so they may not have understood my journey in terms of not having a 9 to 5, working in my own time and doing what I love, right? Not having that regular salary or that set salary on a monthly basis, but still being able to earn from my business. I have had that experience where the person is very uncomfortable with that, right? But one of the things that you have to do is to respect each other, right? And what works is helping the person to understand what you're doing. Because if they don't understand what you do, then it becomes harder to actually exist. That's not the word.
yeah. But you said you started out by saying earlier that this is the person you will spend more well, a lot more time than if it with the platonic relationship. But outside of the whole idea of not having income, and as I said in the other one, how do you think that this mindset can actually cause friction rather than help?
Right.
Yeah, so let's look a little bit on the flip side of it. How can having this mindset with, in a relationship, spousal relationship, how can it then cause friction?
Cause friction? Right. So it can cause friction if your spouse is in a stable 9 to 5 or job, earning. And as an entrepreneur, especially in your earlier years, you are not earning as much as you want to contribute to the relationship. So you may not be able to pull your weight. Your spouse may actually start having doubts in your business and question what it is that you're doing, right? So that can cause some sort of friction in the relationship. So it is important that you have that conversation about the business. Share what it is, your vision, and where you see your business going. And hopefully your spouse will have that patience and that level of understanding to support on that journey and just to watch the business grow.
What about some people who believe to a large degree that, let's say, for example, I enter a relationship, I already have my business that's been established, and I want to keep it separate. So that's my business. I don't necessarily want it to encroach or to interfere, with my personal life. So that's business, that's my personal life. What would be your response to that?
Right. So it's very difficult sometimes and for some persons to really separate the two, especially if your business is something that you're passionate about. It's something that you eat, breathe, think about all the time. Maybe initially in the beginning phases of a relationship, it's easier to do where you can separate your business from your relationship. But as you get closer, you become more open. You want to share more about your life. The truth is that many entrepreneurs, you spend over 16 hours per day working in your business. And so if you are in a relationship with someone, imagine that they know nothing about your life for that 16 hours, then that will definitely affect the relationship, right? And you're also not allowing the person to help you in whatever way or to support you with your business. And support could mean just listening to what it is that you do, maybe offering or giving advice as to how you can improve your business, maybe introducing you to your next client, etc. So it may not be of benefit to you as an entrepreneur to try to always separate your business from your relationship.
Okay. The whole idea then of balance, work balance then, how would that work in this context?
Right. So I definitely believe in balance. Okay. It is very important in this life. Time is something that we cannot regain once lost.
That's right.
And but time is should not only be important in terms of when we are working in our business. The time spent with family, friends, your spouse is also very important, because at the end of the day, when you no longer are able to work in your business, if you're ill, it's not the business that is necessarily going to be taking care of you. It's your family member, it's your spouse, it's your friend. And so I do believe that you have to set the time to grow your relationships, to get to know each other, and just to relax, take care of yourself and take care of each other. One of the strategies or the principles that I use is I try as best as possible to schedule, right? So I schedule my life in terms of the things that I have to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. Even sometimes my schedule will be set for a month in advance. And what that allows
Can
me
relate.
And what that allows me to do is to insert those date nights or insert those vacation days or just time that is just going to be spent chilling, with my spouse or even friends and family. Another thing, I also believe that you should set a time as an entrepreneur when you're working, right? And I know that a lot of us, we may not always stick to it, but it is important to set it. So approach your business like you would a 9 to 5. You go to work at 9 and you leave at 5. That is the general thing. You may be required to work overtime, and that's okay, right? Approach your business the same. So you know if you're going to start working at 8 or 9 and you're going to do a full 8 hours, so you end at 5, and you know that, okay, from 6 to 10, this may be time with my spouse.
Personal time.
Exactly, or personal time. It does impact the relationship in a very positive way and bring some level of structure to the relationship. You don't want to be in a relationship where you're just always working and you have no time for others, because it will definitely cause some level of breakdown.
Definitely. You've said a lot, but if there's still somebody who's listening and they're skeptical and saying, you've said a lot, what's the one thing, if they've missed everything else, what's the one thing you'd want them to get from all of what you said, specifically in terms of how this mindset can enhance their relationship with their spouse?
Right. So the one thing that I would say is definitely to create some level of structure, right? Create a level of structure where your spouse will be comfortable with you as an entrepreneur. They will not think that you're always spending all your time in the business and not giving time to your spouse and even to other things that are important. Some persons may have children, right? You also have to ensure that you take that into consideration and have that balance, because you don't want to be that entrepreneur who spends all your time just working on the business that you really never get to know your family or your children, right? So structure is important. Another thing that is very, very important is, as an entrepreneur, as your business grows, ensure that you're creating systems. At the end of the day, you want to create businesses that work without you as an entrepreneur. I believe this saying that as an entrepreneur, you should be working on your business and not in the business. Of course, when you start the business, you're the head cook and bottle washer, right? But as the business grows, you have to be the person who is creating the strategies. You have to be the person who is out there networking, meeting clients, meeting potential investors, depending on where you see the business. And then you employ others to carry out the daily operations and functions of the business. Use tools such as technology, social media. There's so many tools now that we can actually incorporate in our businesses that we do not have to be in the business literally working from 9 to 5. And if we're absent, then the business shuts down. So in fact, that is actually the best tip that I would give to someone who is thinking of, going into entrepreneurship and how to create that balanced life for your family.
Utilize the technological tools.
Yes.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Lanisia. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, Noreen.
Yeah, it took a while. It took a while, but it's definitely worth the wait. This was Making It Last podcast. I'm your host, Noreen Daly, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. Until next time.
Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.